kitchen. Today I'm going to be making seafood pastillas. Now you can buy phyllo pastry and you can buy brick pastry quite readily, but I find that they're too stiff to make the recipe that I want to make because I need to shape the pies. So make it ourselves, it's so easy to do. All you need are a few kitchen staples. So in this bowl here I have flour and I'm putting this in my food blender. You can use a stick blender or you can use your food processor, but I do recommend that you use it because you really want this beaten well. Into that I'm going to put just half a teaspoon of salt. And here I have very fine semolina that's going in. That will add strength to my dough. That's all there is, apart from water. Now I've got 350 mils of water here, but I don't really want to use all of it. I'm going to use about 300 mils. And this is warm water. I'm only going to use about 300 mils of this because different flours, as you know, go at different rates, absorb at different rates, and I want this dough to be right. I don't want it to be too runny. It needs to end up like thick cream. So into my blender, add more water because I will definitely need that, but I'm going to reserve about 50 mils of this. And there's nothing more to do than to blend this thoroughly. There we go. Now I'm going to pour this into my bowl and then we'll look and see at what it looks like. Now you don't need to sieve this one because we've done it with blender. Now I'm just going to check the consistency of this, and it should look like really thick cream, and actually maybe a tiny drop of water into that, but I will not be using all of it. So we'll stir this up. Oh. It should coat the back of your spoon without running. And if that's the consistency you've got, like really thick cream, that's it. Now I'm going to pop this to one side and I'm going to leave it just for 15 minutes. Well, I've rested my dough. Into that I'm just going to put, it's about a teaspoon of oil, and I'm going to stir that all the way through. And this is what we should be looking like. Just very thick cream. I've already got a pan of simmering water and we need to just keep that at a steady temperature. Then all we need to do is take our brush, load it with butter and start painting onto our pan in sort of circular movements. And as you can see, as I'm working, this is drying out. You just keep going, filling your gaps. My only advice is don't go right to the edges when you do it like this, because you really will have trouble getting it out of the pan. So just paint it on. This is really therapeutic. You've got plenty of time using this method. Oh, there goes my bowl. I'm going to make a mess now. You've got plenty of time to do this. You really have. When you're using a bain-marie for this. My preferred method would be using it directly onto the heat, but when you're first learning to do this, that is not a good idea. Here we go. Now we're just going to leave that until it's all dried out. Now I don't need to make mine any bigger than this because I'm making pastilla and I don't need huge amounts of this. Now this will take a few minutes to start cooking through. As you can see, it's starting to go at the edges, so I'm just going to help it round. Just help it a little bit with my spatula. Look at this, how quick. Look, you can see that's lifting already. Now I think I'm not quite cooked this end, but you'll know because when this starts lifting up, you are ready to pull it. And this is when it gets tricky, and I may do this horribly wrong. So here we go. There is my warqa. Look at this. How fine is that? Beautiful. Now you put that cooked side down and you leave it to cool. Just take the dirty bits out of the pan because we don't want all these dry bits in here. Now if you're going to use this straight away, you can probably just stack them, but ideally you just want to put a little bit of oil on these so they don't dry out, just a little bit, and then later on we won't need to oil these when we use them either. So just put a bit of oil on and cover them because they will dry out really quick. Here we go again. Literally paint in sort of circular movements going around your pan. And look at that. That is going on and drying off beautifully. Now put the semolina in this because it just gives it an added bit of strength. But it isn't necessary to do that, to be fair. You can just use flour, water and salt. What I do recommend is you use bread flour for this, for that extra strength. Right, just keep painting round until you've got it as thick or thin as you want. Now I'm doing mine just a tad thicker today because they're going to carry quite a lot of filling. How about that? But you can dab any little bits that you may have missed. Yeah, I've got a couple there. This is so easy to do and so therapeutic. There we go. Now I'm using, what am I using? A 25cm pan for mine. You can make these bigger, you can make them smaller. Just use a bit of a flexible spatula to just pull these together. And you just leave it until it's all dried out. Very gently help it along. We're not quite done over there, but this is, look, beautiful. There we go. So uncover the one we made and we're going to pull this really carefully, she said, and try and get it out in one piece. If you've got two hands, it's not hard to do. There we go. Put a little bit of oil on because we've got to make the filling first. And you just keep going. You just keep stacking like this. Well, I've made my dough. Now I need to make my filling, and it looks like I've got an awful lot of ingredients here. The first thing I'm going to deal with is I've got 150 grams, where to put it, of Chinese noodles, and all I need to do is put some boiling water over those. And they're just going to soak for a minute while we get going. First thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of oil in my pan. I'm using vegetable oil because it cooks at a slightly higher temperature than olive oil, but olive oil is a good option too. Okay, I've got 450 grams of prawns here, and I'm going to cook those first. Get them nice and pink. Just try and cook those one side and start cooking my fish. Now I'm using a white fish. Cod, if you want to. This is a cheaper alternative. This is, it's called Collie or Colin. It's a white fish. It's very cheap here in France. So all we're going to do is start cooking this off. Once I've got some going, I'll take some out and cook the rest. So I can start taking some prawns out. It's just a matter of getting this cooked through. Into that I'm going to put all of my spices. Now I can never remember all the spices and how much of each, so I'm going to put these up on a list. And I'm going to sprinkle these all over my fish. And cook these off beautifully. I'm now going to add some finely chopped onion into there. I have a lemon. These are preserved lemons, and I'm using half of a preserved lemon. The last thing I'm going to put in here is lots of chopped parsley and the juice of one whole lemon. And I want this all to cook down now. Into that, I'm going to put my drained, what's draining, noodles. Right, I'm going to transfer this into my bowl now. And I'm going to leave this now to cool down. Well, my mix has cooled down somewhat slightly, and my warqa is all ready to go. I've got some oil in case I need it, but that's not likely at the moment. Now I'm using a cookie cutter that's about 4 centimetres because I want to make small pies. And I've got a little pusher that comes off of one of my cake sets. And I'm good to go. Oh, I have my scissors as well for trimming. All I'm going to do is try and centre one of my pastries. Now you can see here, there's no way I would do that with shop bought brick or phyllo. This is absolutely perfect for the job. All I'm going to do is put filling in, making sure I've got some of everything in there. I'm going to push it down with my scoop because my scoop is ideal for this job. Okay, all you need to do then is start pleating your dough inwards, but you do need to go careful because you will break it quite easily like you would with phyllo. I'm just going to pleat that in like this in my circle to encase my dough. Now I'm pleating it because I don't want a great big horrible edges on it, and then I'm just going to make sure that's stuck down. Now I'm going to pull that off and put my pie to one side. I'm going to take a second piece of dough, put it in the middle, get it ready, and this time it's going in upside down so that you've got your last little plates on the bottom. I'm going to push it down into my mould a little bit, and again we're going to do the same process. Now, you shouldn't, in theory, need the oil, but you never know. And be careful not to rip the sides of your pie. All this folding in is putting lovely layers into this pie. Oh, look at that. Got one more bit to go, I think. Maybe pull you in. Because it's all about the shape at the sides of these, isn't it? And then I'm just going to push it down and make sure I've got a really nice shape going on. Turn it over. And I'm putting these onto pan. Let's do another one. Now, see what I was saying earlier about the shapes? Doesn't really matter, as long as it fills your mould. In goes your filling. And I'm going to be quite generous with my filling. There we are. And then pleat it inwards. Sometimes you find that the dough is a bit long in places, which is why I keep the scissors here. There we go, easy peasy. And use that just to stick it. I'm going to move it now to one side. Another piece of dough. That'll do it. See what I mean? I've absolutely demolished some of these, but it doesn't matter. Pick it up really carefully and turn it up the other way. There we go. And then, look, I've got a bit of fat dough there that I don't want in there. So I'm just going to take that off with my scissors. And again, very carefully fold it in. Just pleat it in so it looks tidy. That's all you need to do. We've done all the hard work. This is really the fun bit. And then just, I'm holding it there. I'm not putting any pressure on that at all. I'm just holding it so it all sticks together. And as you can see, look at this. So, I'm going to carry on making these up and I'll be back when we're ready to cook. Don't they look cute? Well, I'm quite pleased with these and the way they've come out. I got 11 out of here, but I was quite generous with my filling. These I'm going to freeze. And what I'll do is put these into sealed plastic bags or freeze bags and just do 2 at a time and lay them in there, and they'll freeze wonderfully and you'll be able to cook these from frozen. So that's those ones. These ones I'm cooking now. Now when my mix cooled down, the filling, I did put a tablespoon of my pomegranate molasses in, which will give them a wonderful flavour. Now I'm just going to put a teaspoonful into some oil, and I hope that doesn't disappear in there. We're going to give it a good old stir, and then we're just going to give it a brush. Just a little brush on the top, that's all. Now these are going to go in a hot oven. They're going to go in a preheated oven, 200 degrees. I'll put the rest of the temperatures up afterwards. And I'm going to cook these for 25 to 30 minutes. What I'm looking for is for these to be golden brown and crispy. I'll see you when they're done and we'll do a taste test. Well, my pastillas are cooked. Pastilla, if you're in Spain. And look at how good they are. Look at these. Absolutely packed with all sorts. Beautiful. I am so pleased with these. My husband has been nagging me since I started making these. Oh, come on, I want to eat some. Because he loves these. They are wicked. Really good for parties and all sorts. Now, I absolutely wrecked this, decimated it. Trying to cut it in half so that I had a nice picture to put on the front. But nevertheless, I'm going to try the one that I've broken. Oh, very hot. That is delicious. And this pastry is fantastic. How easy was that to make? Now, I'm going to be making another type of pastry. Oh, that is gorgeous. Look. You can see how hot that is. I'm going to show you on another video another way to make this dough. But I thought I'd use the pan method today because if you're beginning with this, that's the best way to go. Well, I'm going to have this for my lunch and I better take a couple of those through to my husband, who said next time I come through the door, can I please bring food? Well, if you liked what you saw, please like, share, please share and subscribe to see me making more delicious, cost-effective food. Thank you for watching.